Okay, this is my top 10-ish guitar players that I like, influenced. But at any time, any of these people could be interchanged and others substituted in. So this is just kind of off the top of my head. But these are some people that stick out. Number 1 and 2 are the two Jimmys, Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix. With Jimmy Page, if I had to narrow it down to 1 or 2 songs, I'd probably be Misty Mountain Hop. Just that groove is just, it just, especially the live version, but saying that, any version I've heard of that song, man, it was the first Led Zeppelin song that kind of got stuck in my head that, just I kept going back from when I was 16 all the way till now. I just keep going back to that song. The other one would probably be The Ocean, yeah. But again, you can sit here and talk for days about all the Jimmy Page guitar and Led Zeppelin songs. But then Jimi Hendrix, if I had to isolate that down to 1 or 2 songs, it would probably be Are You Experience That? And Voodoo Child Slight Return, that but again, that's another rabbit hole right there, going down bunny rabbit hole. Also, that blues album that he did, it's like an album full of outtakes. If you've never heard it, it's called Jimi Hendrix Blues. Everything on there is great. Who's next? The Edge. Some people, he sucks, but I don't think there's ever been a guitar player that's laid out such a scape of different tones and sounds as that dude. And if I had to narrow it down to 2 songs, one would be that Bullet the Blue Sky, the slide guitar he plays on that is just like out of this world. The studio version, and there's some live versions that are really great too. Just a lot of energy channeled there. And the next one would be The Fly, and especially that solo he plays on that song. He's just channeling something on there. I don't know what it is, but it's badass. One of the better guitar solos out there. Next up would probably like Eddie Van Halen, the earlier Van Halen stuff. Like for me, it's the first 5 albums. Can't do the Sammy. I know that's some other people's thing, but I just, once it was past after Diver Down, when 1984 come out, I kind of lost interest. I really wasn't into I liked it, the jump and all that other stuff, but Drop Dead Legs is a great song off that 1984 album. But I always end up back at the first 5 albums, especially Fair Warning and Women and Children First. And if I had to narrow it down to 1 song, I would narrow it down to probably Hear About It Later from Fair Warning, because to me that's the sound of Van Halen arriving at the apex of their energies and everything. That I don't want to hear about it later. And I couldn't even begin to tell you how to play that shit. So we'll just skip right on past that. But yeah, that whole side 1 of Fair Warning, Mean Street, Dirty Movies, Center Swing, and Hear About It Later. That's one of the great album sides in rock and roll, hard rock. Next up, number 5 would probably be Gary Rossington, and if Leonard Skinner. And if I had to narrow that down to 1 song, it would be the slide guitar on the studio version of Freebird. That it just takes the song to a whole nother level, and it's one of the all-time great hooks, melodic guitar line hooks in any song. I'd put it up against anything. it just takes the song to a whole another level. One of the best, most beautiful slide guitar parts that's ever been laid down on tape, in my opinion. Next up will be Andy Summers of the Police. In particular, probably the album Ghost in the Machine, especially like the lead guitar he's playing on Demolition Man. And what's some other ones, like Walking on the Moon, the guitar on Walking on the Moon, and Bring on the Night, and on off of Zenyatta Mandata, the Driven to Tears and Voices Inside My Head. There's just been a place that just got so many great songs, and his guitar is just one of the more underrated guitarists out there. Next up would be Sly Stone and Freddie Stone, or Sly and the Family Stone. If I had to narrow it down to one thing, it would probably be the There's a Riot Going On album, or maybe Stand. I don't really know. And any of the live stuff, and I don't know who's playing what, but it doesn't matter. Any of the guitar stuff on any of those albums or their live stuff is just great. The interplay between the two of them. And I really can't play any of it. So next up would be, I guess number 8 will be Muddy Waters. Because without Muddy Waters, you wouldn't have, you wouldn't have rock and roll, or electric blues. Maybe you would, I don't know. But if I had to narrow it down to one Muddy Waters thing, it would be the live version of Long Distance Call from 1971 in Eugene, Oregon. Muddy Waters band played at the university there, and the crew for the television show Gunsmoke come along with him to film the show. It's all over YouTube, but it's just great. And he's got all the great players playing with him, from that, like Pine Top Perkins. Just, I can't name them off the top of my head, but it's just great. Go check it out. Go check it out. Next up would be Roy Buchanan, and I couldn't even tell you a song, but and I didn't even know who Roy Buchanan was until about 10 years ago or so, when my buddy Art Edmonston popped it into the player on the bus, and it was just like mind blown. Just every time that dude touches guitar, it's just magic. One of the great underrated, lesser known people. Number 10, probably be Good Buddy Guy. And if I had to narrow it down to one thing, it would be the Sweet Tea album, one particular song, Who's Been Fooling You. It's just so nasty, funky, groove. But say I've seen him 2 or 3 times live, and any one of those shows, any song could just as well be, one of the best things you've ever seen. And his sense of humor live is unparalleled. He's just, all his mannerisms and expression, he's one of the best performers I've ever seen, period. That's it. Honorable mentions would probably be, some people might laugh at this, but Ace Frehley, back in the 70s with Kiss, like 1975, actually 1973 to about 76 or 77, they had this rock and roll, old school rock and roll groove to them, man, like a soul groove to them. And his guitar playing is just mesmerizing, some of it. And you could just sit here and list off the hot licks, man. Just great. And some of those albums too. But they lost that later on. They kind of morphed into other things and kind of got locked up into that 80s metal crap. I don't want to call it crap, but it was just different, man. That old school rock and roll feel they had when they first come out was really cool. But he's one guy, especially live. Another guy's, I think East Bay Ray, with the Dead Kennedys. All their albums, man, the guitar on it's great. Live, there's some live shows on YouTube that are really great too, man. He just had his totally his own sound. If I had to narrow it down to one song, I probably couldn't, because it's all just really, really cool guitar stuff he's playing. And that's probably it. One more person that stands out to me too among the new, more modern things is Andrew True, Greyhounds. If I had to narrow it down to one song, it would probably be the slide guitar he plays on the song "All My Fault." It's just one of the nastiest slide things I've ever heard laid down to tape. And he's always good whenever his hand touches the guitar. It's just, he's great. And he's a friend, that helps. But that's it. I'm going to cut it off there. But again, any of these guys could be interchanged, and there's probably another 20 or 30 that aren't on my mind right now at the moment. So this list could change at any time. But that's it. Y'all have a good day. Bye.